Catch up on the AR, how you did that? Track out, lift up when you take off, how you did that? You put switches up on your blinkies, how you did that? Your LV bed turned to a legit, how you did that? I seen that turn to a Louis, how you.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Symone and welcome back to my channel. If y'all can see by the title, today is another story time. Before we get into this video, y'all already know what to do. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, give a girl a thumbs up, and comment down below. So you guys, today is day, let's see, 12. Day 12 of Vlogtober. It just, every time I say the days, it'd be like, is the days moving down or not? But y'all, it's day 12 of Vlogtober and it is actually day number, hold on, let me make sure I got this right. Day number 4 of week of story times, and it is also 19 days left until Halloween, and y'all still didn't tell me what y'all was gonna be. Anyway, but what I was gonna say, oh yeah, anyway, y'all don't forget to follow me on all my social medias listed down below, and my Instagram is at Vivalayoshii, TikTok and Twitter are LifeWithSymone. So y'all, I got some good stories for y'all. Good stories. This is another fact or fiction beyond belief, as y'all can see at the title, and today we got some hood horror stories. What's better than hood horror stories? And y'all know I had to find some hood horror stories from where I'm from. So these are from LA and they take place back in the 90s, which is very, very interesting. Y'all, I really like these stories. I was like, okay. So yeah, let's get straight into these stories. Don't forget, make sure you guys comment down below which story you think is fact and which one you think is fiction. Also, in my next video tomorrow, I'll let you guys know the answer. But y'all, let me know what y'all think. Let me prop my knee up. Y'all can't see it, but it's right there. Okay, so this one is titled Angel from Hell. Ooh, let's see what this one is all about. So it's, in today's society, everything is totally different than what I'm used to. We didn't have as much technology as you guys do now. Nowadays, one rumor could spread across the whole world by just clicking send. Back in my day, you had to hear word of mouth, aka from the grapevine. It still surprised me to this day how fast rumors would spread back then. But anyway, let's get into this story. So this was the summer of '98. I will never forget, because this was the beginning to a horrible life for me. A lot of people say that I should be happy that I made it through this, but to me, I feel like my life changed forever and it's never going back. And I just wish that none of it could have happened. The summer of '98, and I decided to go to my cousin's house. At this time, I was 19 years old. My cousins lived in the PJs and it always went up around this time. Well, I mean, it went up all the time, but especially in the summertime. So I went over there to go kick it with them. I had a lot of homegirls in that area as well. I went to go kick it this time. It was a lot of niggas outside. I just got out of a little relationship with a bum and I was excited to meet somebody new. My cousins didn't play that shit though. They didn't want me talking to nobody in the hood because they just didn't want the drama. But I didn't care. I still messed around with a few whenever I had the chance. So today, like no other, we was all kicking it and smoking, having a good time. When one of the guys approached me, he wasn't from the PJs and I could tell because he didn't look like he was from around these ways. He told me his name was Chris. I gave him my number, but of course, y'all, it wasn't cell phones back then, so I gave the boy my house number. He gave me his beeper number and another number I could reach him at, just in case I wanted to talk to him. He told me that he was about to leave in a little bit and if I wanted to ride with him. Y'all, back then we actually met men in person, so I decided I was gonna hop in the car with him. I got in the car and everything was cool. We was driving around, everything was straight. He said he had to go make a few plays and I was down with it. I loved a hood nigga at that time. We spent the whole day together and let's just say we vibed. We had a cool connection. Everything seemed to be perfect with him. He just seemed to be like the perfect guy. My cousins wasn't even tripping when he approached me. They didn't even care when I left with him. Everything just seemed straight. Come to find out, this man was horrible, an angel in disguise. It's like he was sent straight from hell just to ruin my life. And I always questioned, what the fuck did I do to deserve this? So as days went on, we spent damn near every day together. I would go with him to drop off plays. He was like the plug around the city. He was from there. I'm not going to get too much into details of where he was from, but he most definitely was from Los Angeles as well. He was the plug around the city. He would do a lot of little drop-offs and I'll be right there with him. He took me to the mall. We would go shopping. We'll go out to eat. I was just always by his side. I was always by his side. Of course, it was easy to catch a man cheating back then too. It may sound crazy because we didn't have the internet to help us, but we most definitely caught our man when they was fucking up, because that shit got around, like I said, through the grapevine. One day I go back to the PJs to kick it with my cousins and my homegirls. One of the girls came up to me and she was just talking to me about Chris. She told me she seen me with him and that she been seeing I've been hanging out with him and heard that I've been with him all the time now. And she heard from her people that stay on the west side that I be over there with him a lot too. So I just was wondering, what are you talking about? Like, why are you speaking on my man? So I asked her, and she told me to just be careful because he's not who he seemed to be. At that point, I thought the bitch was just hating because, like I said, he was the plug, he had money, he was doing good. I know with success comes hater. So let's go ahead and just fast forward because I know y'all want to hear the part of how this man ruined my whole life. He became very abusive, verbally and physically. I thought it was just because things was running slow in his operation. Time went by and it just got worse. He went from not just putting his hands on me and throwing me around, but actually breaking stuff on me. He broke my nose and fractured my jaw. At this time, my cousins told him that he better stay away from me. But you know how that goes. He was still supplying them with products, so they didn't really do too much about the situation. We stopped talking for about a week, and I should have just left. But no, I decided to go back into his life. When I went back into his life, things got worse. He was doing extremely bad. Things wasn't moving like it was, and he would always need to borrow money from me. One day he told me he had to play for me. He would drop me off at work from time to time, so he seen the type of people I worked with. He told me it would be real simple and easy. He told me it would be real simple and easy. I just had to get the address. I worked as HR at my job, and he told me to get one of the exec's address so that he could make a play. He told me this would be the only time he would ever ask me to do this, but this play would put him back on his feet. I'm not gonna lie, the guy was pretty flashy, but not in a bad way. He came through in different nice cars, expensive watches. You could just tell he was a very expensive man. He said all we needed was one watch and we'll be on. He'll be able to pay to connect and be back on his feet. I asked him to give me some time to think about it. He told me he'd give me one day. He needed that address by tonight. I was stressed out. I didn't know what to do. He told me nobody would get hurt and that he would make sure he watched the play out so that it would all work out and no one would ever suspect anything. So I thought about it, and I noticed Chris was way happier when he did have money in his pockets. So I decided to get the address. It wasn't hard for me to get information like this at my job. Again, I worked in HR, so I had a lot of access to a lot of things. Getting this address was the worst thing I could have ever done. So I got the address for Chris, and I told him, make sure that nothing is messy and nothing comes back on me. He told me, like he said, he's going to get in and get out. It's not going to be a messy job. So he told me that he had been watching the guy house and he made sure he seen the hours and that he was going to let me know when was the time he was going to do it, just so I could be comfortable and know that everything is going smooth. I told him the best time to do it would have been on a Thursday because that's when they have meetings at my job and the guy was always there. He told me it would be better if they go at night. So I listened to him because, of course, he knows more than I know. So the night that everything was supposed to go down, Chris hit me up and he told me that he needed my help. The person that was supposed to be the driver flaked out and that he needed me to be the lookout. I was so afraid. I told him I didn't feel comfortable doing it and that I've never done something like this before, so it wouldn't work out. Chris went into a rage, and I was so afraid of this man that when he raised his voice, I changed my answer and told him that I'll be the lookout. So we head over to the house. Everything seemed cool. I was afraid, but everything was quiet. He told me that it was cool. It was me in a car of 3 other guys that I've never seen before. We drove his car, but we could technically say it was mine because the car was in my name. By the way, after me and Chris met, he traded in his car and got a new one in my name. And how dumb could I be because I didn't even have a car? Anyway, back to that night. Him and his friends told me all I had to do was keep a lookout. If I hear or see anything crazy, to just beep the horn. They told me don't be just playing on the horn because they need to actually get in there and get what they need. So I told them I'm good, I got it. They get out the car and they go into the house. I noticed in the driveway was a car. It was a few cars actually. I said the guy would switch cars out all the time. Went into the house. I was sitting there looking around so nervous and it seemed like they wasn't even in there for 5 minutes until I heard gunshots. I got so scared I wanted to drive off, but I kept the car off with the light. I got so scared I wanted to drive off. I didn't know what to do. I sat there thinking, oh my God, they're going to come out any minute now and we're going to just leave. A door opened and one of the guys come out. He said, Chris said, come in here. We need you. I got so afraid because what do they need me for? I go in the house and it's a mess. When I tell you things went wrong, everything went completely wrong. I was crying and screaming and asking what happened? How did this happen? They told me that they needed me to hurry up and try to clean up the scene while they try to still get things out of the house. So me, like a dummy, is over here trying to clean things up. I don't want to get too into details of how many people, but it was a mess. It was horrible. I'm trying to wipe up the blood while at the same time they're in the house running in and out. At this point, one of the guys was like, we have to go. They're going to call the police. Somebody's going to call the police. So I was scared and I was so nervous. We ran back to the car and we ended up driving off. I was shook up. The guy who actually decided that we needed to leave was the one that was driving at this time. We didn't get to drive that far away. This neighborhood was a maze. The police turned onto the neighborhood and they seen, of course, us driving down the street with no lights on and pulled us over immediately. It was so many police cars. 2 of them stopped us and the rest continued to go towards the house. At this point, I was so afraid. I was scared. I realized that I attempted to clean up the blood and I still had it all over me. I didn't know what to do. I was crying. I was screaming. Chris told me to take off my sweater and put it under the seat. He told me to fake like I was asleep and do not say anything. They told me just to sit there and be quiet. Do not say anything. Do not look afraid. Just close your eyes. The police pulled us over and immediately pulled us out the car. They didn't ask for license or registration, anything. They pulled us out the car. Of course, they searched it and they found my sweater with blood all over it. Of course, we were arrested. And at that point, I knew my life was over. I cried to the police in the interrogation room and told them I had nothing to do with this. I told them that I was just taking a friend to go get something and I had no idea that this was going to happen. Of course, they came back and told me that somebody told me that it was all my idea. I provided the address and I set everything up. At this time, I didn't know what to believe and I didn't believe the police. Fast forward, everything the police was saying was right. Chris snitched on me. Chris told the police that I was the mastermind behind everything. He told them that I'm the one who pulled the trigger. Chris told the police that I had been dating my boss just so I could plan to set him up. I didn't know what to do but to cry because I knew it was over for me. When we were at the house and Chris told me to clean up the scene, the gun was on the floor and he asked me to pick it up and take it to the car. So when we all left out the house, I had my fingerprints on there as well. It wasn't much that they could prove that I had nothing to do with it because I did work at the job and I am the one who provided the address. I'm here writing this story from jail. Everyone was found guilty, including me. The judge had no sympathy for me. Cameras did prove that I wasn't the shooter, but that didn't mean anything. I was sentenced to life in jail. The only thing my lawyer was able to do was not give me the death penalty. This was the worst day of my life. I said summer of '98 was the worst time of my life. I never knew that someone that seemed so sweet could be so evil. I knew I should have got out when I had the chance. Any woman that's listening or reading this story, please learn from my mistake. Just because he seemed like the perfect guy doesn't mean that he is. The first time that he shows his true colors, please walk away. I've thrown away my whole life for someone that didn't even appreciate me, someone who didn't love me, someone that turned the gun to me the moment that he had the chance, someone that outed me and tried to blame me for everything that he done, someone that mentally, physically, and verbally abused me, someone that never cared if I lived or died. Please look at my situation as a lesson. Never let love end your life. No, I cannot, but that is so sad. It's so sad because there's so many girls out here that's really throwing away their life for a man. Like, it's so many females out here, and not even just females, it's men too that's throwing away their life for somebody they love. Like, you really cannot let your heart control your mind, because I swear out of love people would do the most dumbest shit. And it's crazy because I know she didn't think that this would have happened. Like, I know she didn't think that he was gonna go in there and do this, and it's just crazy the fact that he would flip everything on her. And y'all, that is the saddest shit ever. And I bet you if he could have, she didn't say what happened to him, which, oh no, what she said, everybody was convicted, everybody was found guilty. But I'm pretty sure if he could have found a way to put it all on her and walk free, he would have, and not even reached out or nothing. Like she said, please learn from her mistakes, because that's crazy to just throw your man. And sometimes we don't even think about it either. We just love somebody so much that we think it's gonna get better. But that is crazy. And y'all, as y'all can see, when I'm reading it, I was trying not to do too much facials, because last time y'all told me my face told it all. So I'm just reading it like, let me just try to read it with a straight face. But it was like, oh my God. Like, I didn't expect it to go that way. I didn't expect that story to go that way. Because I found these stories and I kind of like skimmed through them. But I didn't read the whole thing because I'm like, I want to read them with y'all. But, ooh, let's get into the next story. So this one is titled, I Should Have Been a Better Friend. Hey, so I see everybody is sharing their stories on this app, and I wanted to share mine as well. Y'all would see exactly why I titled this story the way I titled it. I was a horrible friend, and I can admit that because it led to my friend dying. Okay, let me not. Back in March of '93, me and my homegirl was cruising down Crenshaw. We always used to cruise down Crenshaw because that's where all the niggas would be. If you ever seen Boys in the Hood, it was just like that. Niggas would be outside. It was a vibe. Everybody was meeting somebody. Somebody was going home with somebody. Me and my homegirl did this so many times. Like I said, we met so many different guys, hooked up with so many different guys. So we thought today's not going to be any different. Only difference was it was my friend's birthday. Her name is Keisha and my name is Monica. Even though we always went on Crenshaw, it was our thing. So Keisha didn't mind spending her birthday being out there. And plus, we already had it in our minds that we was going to meet some niggas to take us out to a club to eat something. We was going to have fun for Keisha's birthday, whatever we did. So we was cruising down Crenshaw and we decided to park and get out. That's really how you meet people. So we got out the car and we walked around. Me and Keisha was looking fly. We had our heels on. Little skirts. We actually had matching outfits because Keisha was my girl. That was my best friend. We was walking around. We ran into guys that we already met before, but we wanted something new. We didn't want to get the same tired guys that we're always running into because them the type of niggas that's only going to spend money on you once, fuck you, and then never call you again unless they want some more. So we was out there for about a good hour and we met some guys. We ended up meeting some guys. We could tell by the way they was dressed they wasn't from here. They claimed to be from Detroit, but I don't know how true that is, and you'll see why I say that. They were only out here for another night. We told them we'll show them around town. They didn't really do much. They haven't went anywhere. They was just here for business. They heard at one of the liquor stores that Crenshaw be jumping and they should come out tonight. So that's why they was there. So we told them we'll show them a good time. We also told them it was Keisha's birthday. One of the guys' name was Mike. And Mike was the one that was all over Keisha. So when he told her it was her birthday, he said he had to show her a good time tonight. Me and Keisha was already a little flirty, so they knew they was getting some by the end of the night. His other friend name was Drew, and the third guy didn't even speak to us. So they said, let's get out of there so we could find something better to do. We was telling them about some cool clubs, and they said that they want to try them out. We was also hungry, but it was nothing open but fast food. They told us that was fine and to get in their car with them. We left my car parked and we drove around for a while and ended up at a McDonald's. While we're in the drive-thru, Mike asked if we knew where he could get some weed from. Keisha told him her cousin sells some and that we could go over there and pick some up from him. There might be people at the end of the freeway exit selling flowers. Mike brought all the roses and gave it to Keisha and told her happy birthday. Mike was really talking to Keisha like he wanted to be with her for the rest of his life. Drew, not so much. He was just sitting in the backseat, not really saying anything to me. I was squeezed in the middle of the backseat in the middle of him and the third guy who really wasn't saying anything. When we pulled up to Keisha's cousin's house to get the weed, Keisha asked Mike if he wanted to get out with her and meet her cousin. He said no, he was going to stay in the car. So I ended up getting out the car and going in with Keisha. I noticed that back in their hometown, they was well known and we could just see they looked and smelled like money. We ended up getting the weed and getting back in the car with them. When we got back in the car with them, they told us that they was going to drop the third guy off at their hotel room. So we was like, that's fine with us. We were driving around. We ended up at a hotel not too far from downtown. Noticed that they were going to go inside the room and grab some things and come back. So we told them that was cool and we stayed in the car. Me and Keisha, again, we're talking. Keisha was saying she's in love. Keisha was saying she was in love. And I was just so happy for my girl. I could tell me and Drew probably wouldn't have much going on, but I was still happy for her and I decided I was going to be around. When we finally got back to the car, they said they wanted to just chill and go to one of our places. So we told them we could go in the room with them. We didn't mind. And they was like, nah, they'd rather go back to our spot. So Keisha had her own place. I was still living with my mom at this time. Keisha had her own spot and said that we could go to her house. Again, it was her birthday weekend, so her daughter was going with her mom. We decided to go back towards Keisha's house, but I told them first, let me go pick up my car. So we went to go pick up my car from Crenshaw. I told Drew he could hop in the car with me, and he told me he was going to stay in the car with Keisha and Mike. That should have been a red flag, but I didn't think nothing of it. We all go back to Keisha's house. We end up getting some more alcohol. While we're at Keisha's house, we're just listening to music, chilling, drinking, having fun. Mike was telling Keisha how he was going to take her back home. He was looking at pictures of her and her daughter and telling her that they could come live with him. He's going to take care of her. All this stuff, it just sounded good, and I was so happy for her. Drew, on the other hand, just let it known that he just wanted to have sex. So we went in the room and we did just that. When we came back out, Keisha and Mike was still just talking and talking and talking. The more alcohol got into their system, the more crazy they became. Mike told Keisha to get naked and dance for him. We was used to doing stuff like this in front of each other, so it wasn't a problem. She did just that. I started to get naked too because I didn't want my girl to feel left out, and I started dancing for Drew. But I noticed his eyes was only on Keisha. Mike's was too. Mike started aggressively having you know what, with Keisha, to where I could tell she was so uncomfortable. I tried to start back up with Drew, but he wasn't interested. He was more interested in watching Keisha and Mike. He wasn't even paying me attention. Drew told Mike that he wanted some head from Keisha. Keisha looked at Mike in the most uncomfortable way. I told Drew that I'll do it, and he said he wanted Keisha to do it. Keisha was down and said she was gonna do it. By the way, when we first got to Keisha's house, they said they were gonna pay us to have fun. So Keisha started doing it, and while Keisha was on Drew, Mike got on Keisha. We were going for about a good 10 minutes. I'm not gonna lie, I got really jealous. I knew we both were gonna get the money and split it because Keisha was my girl and we've done things like this before, but I can't lie, I was jealous because I wanted some of the attention. I noticed Keisha was enjoying what was going on, so I told her I was gonna leave because there was no point of me being there. Keisha asked me to stay. We ended up going to the bathroom and talking, and she begged me to stay. When I said my friend begged me to stay, she told me she was just doing it for the money and that it would all be worth it in the end. Honestly, we never met any guys that was willing to pay us. We would just always go back to Keisha's house or one of their spots and have fun. I told Keisha when I go back out there, I'm going to try to get on Mike. And I told her if none of them want me, then I'm leaving because there's no point of me being here watching y'all have fun. Keisha begged me, and I wish I would have paid attention to my friend's eyes. She told me that she was okay when I asked her if everything was fine, but she didn't want me to leave. I went back out and I tried to get on Mike. He told me that he didn't want me and he wanted to continue what him, Drew, and Keisha was doing. So I told Keisha I was finna leave. I put on my clothes and I left. Keisha begged me again not to go, but I still left anyway. I got home and I was so upset that I just went straight to bed. I was so jealous of my friend, and now when I look back on it, I'm so mad at how envious and jealous I was of her. This wasn't the first time that I've been jealous and left her in a bad situation. 2 days went by and I didn't even call to check on her or ask her how things went. I just assumed that she just had a lot of fun with them. Anyway, 2 days go by and I get a phone call from her mom. She was worried and asking if I heard from Keisha. She never came to pick up her daughter and they haven't heard from her. And that wasn't like Keisha because she talked to her mom every day. And whenever her daughter would go to her mom's house, she constantly called to check on her. I told her I haven't heard from her, but I'll go by her house to check on her. At this point, I was still jealous and thought that Keisha probably ran off with Mike and was living a luxury life somewhere, being pampered, going shopping, and was just ignoring everybody. I still went by her house to check on her for her mom. I'm one of the people who have a spare key to Keisha's house, so I was going to be able to get in. But when I got there, the door was unlocked and it wasn't closed all the way. When I realized this, my heart sank. I didn't want to go into the house, but I knew I had to go in and see if everything was okay. The living room was a mess. It looked like somebody had a fight in there and things was thrown around. It actually looked like somebody broke into her home. I was hoping and praying that that would have been the outcome and that she was just gone and somebody just came in. I walked into Keisha's room and I found her lifeless body laying on the floor. My heart dropped. I couldn't believe what I saw. I was so sad. I was shaking. I couldn't do anything. I called her mom first and then I called the police. Everybody came to her home. I told them everything I knew about Mike and Drew. The autopsy said it was blunt force trauma to the head. Come to find out, Mike's real name was not Mike. When they went to the hotel to see if anybody checked in by that name, they didn't. The hotel lobby cameras even showed that they were never at that room. I guess that's why they left us in the car so we wouldn't know where they were really going. Still to this day, Keisha's murder is unsolved. I really hate how bad of a friend I was. I should have never left my friend there. Jealousy and envy made my friend lose her life. If I was a better friend and I would have stayed with her, none of this could have happened. It hurts me to look into Keisha's daughter's eyes and to know that I'm the reason why her mom is not here. I kept this story a secret for so long because I knew deep down inside if her mom knew the truth that she would keep me away from Keisha's daughter, and that's the only part that I have left of her. I wish that I could have been better. I wish that I could have been better. I try to instill so much in my own daughters and also into my godchild, Keisha's daughter, that being a good friend really goes a long way. You should never leave your friend alone. You should never leave your friend. A lot of times they always just look at me and say, I know. Not knowing that the real reason I'm expressing this is because my jealousy made me lose my best friend. I would hate if Keisha's daughter found out the truth. I really want to tell her about everything that happened because I feel like she deserves to know. She always asks me about her mom and I feel like I can't be completely honest with her. She was only 3 years old when her mom passed away. She asked me to tell her stories and I just feel like I can't tell her everything. What do you guys think? Should I tell her or should I continue to keep it to myself? Keeping it to myself has been killing me for over 20 years. Wow, that's so... damn. I don't know what to say. And it's crazy because even though I'm reading the stories to y'all, I don't even know which one is true or false yet either. I'm going to look at the end. And that story is just so sad because it's like when I think about it, it's like, damn. It just makes you think like, it's been so many times where I've been around people who didn't have good intentions for me or like stuff like that. You just think back to people and you just never know. You would be so jealous of all the attention that your friend was getting that you would leave her, especially that type of attention. It wasn't like any special type of treatment attention. You were jealous because these men wanted her sexually, so you left her with strangers. That's so fucked up. And then you're still smiling in her daughter's face, trying to give her life lessons when you, not saying you're the reason, because you're not the one who actually took her mom's life, but you left her there. You didn't tell anybody. You didn't call and check on her. Maybe if you would have went, she didn't say that, but it's like, maybe if you would have checked on your friend, you could have saved her. Like, if you would have checked and went to her house, like, let me go the next morning, or let me go back, like, you could have saved her. And instead you thought, damn, she must be having the time of her life. She gonna get all the money out of them, and I'm not. So I'm gonna leave her there, which, man, that's so crazy. Y'all, of this story, of this fact or fiction, I'm so sorry. I just want to say this to you guys. I'm so sorry if these stories are really, like, that's why in the beginning I say it's a trigger warning. I tell y'all a trigger warning in the beginning. So if it's something that you cannot take, then, you know, click off the video. I'm okay with that. Without, you know, like, I'm okay with y'all now. If you can't watch it, you don't have to watch it, because I understand how some stuff could be traumatizing to people, because a lot of people have family members that have been through stuff like this, or friends, you know, and it's, of course, these things might bring back memories. It might be traumatizing to y'all. So I do want to say sorry if it is just too much. Only reason why I'm doing these type of stories is because, again, it's like spooky season. I know y'all probably like, girl, you can't do a ghost story, but no, I'm gonna do a ghost story, like stuff like that, like paranormal activity type stuff and stuff like that. I'm gonna do that next, because reading these stories like this is actually like, it's like, it's giving it's giving true crime, y'all. But y'all let me know if y'all are okay with these type of videos. But I'll do like hunted stuff too, like I'll do stuff like that as well. But y'all, that's it for this video. Y'all don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also go down, let me know which story do you guys think is fake and which one you think is real. Comment down below, and in tomorrow's video I'll go ahead and tell you guys the answer to this video. So yeah, peace out, you guys.